Good evening. Here are the top stories making headlines today. Ahmedabad plane crash survivor discharged from hospital attends brother's cremation in Diu. Vishwas Kumar Ramesh, the sole survivor of the Air India plane crash, has been discharged from the Ahmedabad Civil Hospital following his recovery. He later attended the cremation of his deceased brother, who was flying with him on the same aircraft. The mortal remains of his brother Ajay were handed over to the family in the early hours of Wednesday after a DNA test confirmed his identity. Vishwas and Ajay, who were natives of Diu, were heading back to London after spending some time with their family members in the Union Territory. G7 leaders failed to reach ambitious joint agreements on key issues after Trump's exit. 6 of the group of 7 leaders discussed Russia's war in Ukraine and the Israel-Iran conflict, but failed to reach major agreements on those and many other top issues, wrapping up a summit that was forced to try and show how the wealthy nations club might still shape global policy despite the early departure of US President Donald Trump. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney and his counterparts from the UK, France, Germany, Italy, and Japan were joined during Tuesday's final sessions by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and NATO Chief Mark Rutte. India-Canada agreed to designate new High Commissioners for the first time since 2023. 2 years after a major rupture in ties, India and Canada have agreed to restore the High Commissioners in Delhi and Ottawa and discussed restarting talks for a trade agreement, visa services, and other dialogue mechanisms. The decisions came during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's talks with Canada's newly elected Prime Minister Mark Carney on the sidelines of the G7 outreach session in Canada, where India is a special invitee. Significantly, both countries have agreed to designate new commissioners for the first time since 2023, with a view to returning to regular services to citizens and businesses in both countries. Iran's Khamenei says never surrender, warns US of irreparable damage if it intervenes. Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei said the nation would never surrender as demanded by US President Donald Trump and warned the United States it would face irreparable damage if it intervenes. Israeli warplanes pounded Iran's capital Tehran overnight and into Wednesday as Iran launched a small barrage of missiles at Israel with no reports of casualties. The remarks from Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who has only been seen once since the strikes began, came after Mr. Trump demanded unconditional surrender and warned him that the US knows where he is but has no plans to kill him, at least not for now. That's all for now. Stay updated with The Hindu. Subscribe for more.